Welcome, everyone. So today we're jumping right into an explainer that, well, it completely flips our traditional idea of family right on its head. I mean, we usually take the concept of family totally for granted, right? We picture that standard blood-tied unit. But the source material we're digging into today asks us to zoom way out. We're going to look at the much bigger picture of human connection, and honestly, see how our most basic social structure is literally transforming before our eyes.
Let me ask you something, and I want you to really be honest with yourself here. Is your home basically just a place to crash at the end of the day? The source makes this really fascinating and kind of tragic observation about modern life. For so many of us, the home has essentially become this stressful environment that we just commute to for sleep. It's supposed to be our ultimate safe haven, but instead, it often feels like just another obligation. Keep that harsh reality in mind as we go, because that is exactly the problem we're trying to solve today.
All right, let's get into Section 1, the fractured reality of the modern family.
Think about the stark contrast between our everyday reality and, the ideal. Today, the physical home often acts as a super stressful environment. You've got family members slamming doors, basically avoiding each other, and treating the house like a temporary hotel. There's just no real dialogue happening. Now compare that to a true family. That is meant to be a space for open discussion, mutual growth, and actually solving problems together. The source argues that if your home looks more like the first one, it's really just functioning as a lodging, not a true family base.
And this shift isn't just about people being in a bad mood. It's actually being driven by massive structural changes in our society. We're seeing this huge surge in one-person households, blended families, and communal share houses, a lot of which is driven by pure economic burden. The old-school, strictly biological definition of family, it's simply becoming obsolete in the face of all these modern economic and social pressures.
Which brings us to Section 2, a new definition of true family.
The source makes this incredibly powerful, direct assertion. If there is no discussion, it is not a family. Let that sink in for a second. The true metric of a family isn't actually shared DNA. It's the ability to have meaningful, constructive dialogue. If you can sit down, share your burdens, and just organically talk through life's challenges with someone, well, that person functions as your family. If you can't even do that with your biological relatives, then that biological unit is quite frankly failing its primary purpose.
So, as we mature, this definition of family has to expand outward. It's like a fascinating zoom-out exercise. We start small, right, with the individual and the biological family. But from there, we absolutely must grow to embrace our immediate society. Then we recognize our nation as a functioning unit. And finally, we view all of humanity as our ultimate family. We literally cannot survive, let alone thrive, if we stay locked in that very first step.
Moving on to Section 3, Era of Social Parents, Guiding the Community.
So, what exactly does that mean? Well, social parents aren't necessarily biological parents at all. They're the community leaders, the mentors, the elders, who have radically shifted their mindset. It's kind of like a dedicated teacher looking out for an entire neighborhood. They view the broader society as their extended family. Instead of just hyper-focusing on their own biological kids, they take genuine responsibility for guiding the community and solving our collective problems. They are absolutely the glue holding this expanded societal family together.
And the duties of these social parents, they are vast but absolutely crucial. They are tasked with deeply researching societal issues and figuring out, why things are going off the rails. They take the initiative to correct systemic flaws, and crucially, they guide the younger generation, passing down wisdom not just to their own kids, but to anyone in society who needs it. Their ultimate goal is to take our disconnected society and actively transform it into a warm, cohesive family structure.
Okay, Section 4, Narrow to Great Mind, Growing Our Mindset.
The source actually uses a really specific term for this elevated state of being, Dae-in, which translates to a person with a great mind. A Dae-in is this beautifully broad-minded individual who has totally transcended their immediate small biological circle. They've done the heavy lifting, the emotional and intellectual work required to genuinely embrace society and eventually all of humanity as their true family. This is presented as literally the ultimate goal of human psychological and spiritual growth.
Really, this boils down to two fundamentally different ways to live your life. First, you've got the saw-in bay, the narrow-minded person. They are always just looking down at their own feet, obsessing over their tiny biological circle, which honestly just leaves them constantly struggling with minor problems. But contrast that with the Dae-in. By looking out at society, they unlock this massive, overarching wisdom. It's amazing. When you think big, the small problems just tend to resolve themselves. It's a complete upgrade in how we process life.
And finally, Section 5, Embracing Humanity for the Greater Good.
This brings us to another key philosophical term from the source, Hongik Ingan. This describes individuals who have been raised, educated, and nurtured not just to get a good job and buy a nice house, but to actively contribute to the greater good and prosperity of all humanity. It's this powerful realization that the resources and knowledge society poured into us, they were meant to be paid forward to the entire world.
Just consider this really profound reality for a second. We did not grow up solely on our own. We grew through the energy, knowledge, and sacrifice of all humanity. The source points out that your personal success, or even any modern nation's success, was never, ever achieved in a vacuum. The smartphones we use, the books we read, the safety we enjoy, it is all the accumulated result of global historical human sacrifice. Recognizing that debt completely shatters the illusion that we only owe allegiance to our immediate biological relatives.
Which leaves us with this final, really provocative question to consider today. Are you ready to embrace society as your family? Seriously, are you ready to stop slamming doors, to start having meaningful discussions, and to expand your mind beyond your own front porch? Our modern world is incredibly complex, and for sure the only way we will thrive in it is if we start treating each other with the care, responsibility, and open dialogue of a true global family. I really hope this explainer has sparked a brand new way of thinking about your community today. Thank you so much for joining me, and keep learning.